Hey everybody, welcome to Photography Tips and Tricks. I'm Pete Collins, and we're going to jump right in with a tip from Cahill. You may know her from Cahill Training or from Nikon. Let's see what she has for us.
Hey guys, Larry here, and I'm here again with Annie Cahill, and she is the Professional Markets Director at Adorama. If you're in New York and you're near Adorama, stop by and see her because you will learn something, I promise. I always do every time I'm with you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Today I want to ask you about a lens that we both love, which is the 85-1.4 and other fast glass. So 85-1.4, we were having this conversation right before the tape was rolling, so I hope we get it back again because you were covering some really interesting things about that lens.
Well, it's a gorgeous lens.
No question.
Incredibly sharp, has nanocrystal coat, so coatings on the lenses for your fast glass is very important because of ghosting and flare. So that really is important, especially because we tend to shoot fast glass wide open, and if you're in a backlit situation, that's something that you really have to consider in terms of, lens flare. So what we were talking about, and I have some examples, is how it's as great as a fast glass is, whether it's 1.4 or 1.8, you have to be very careful where you put your focus cursor on the near eye.
Sure.
If people move just slightly out of position, you could really get out of focus very quickly.
Yeah, so
you have to really check yourself.
Just going from looking straight at the camera to just a slight move like that.
Yeah, you can be out.
Yeah.
So you have to really pay attention to the plane of focus. If you're photographing a child, it can be very tricky because obviously, kids are going to move around. So you may have to stop down, a little bit. The other thing we talked about, say if you're doing more of a fashion portrait and you want to get sharpness, say in someone's hair and maybe jewelry, maybe an earring. So that means you're going to have to stop down. Even though you're shooting, again, a fast lens, you have to be very mindful of your depth of field. So a lot of that comes into play.
Right, and I was noticing that in the photograph that you said was a prom picture. Beautiful photograph, and there are things like keeping the jewelry in focus.
Yeah, so it all depends on the focal length of your lens, the distance, and obviously, your f-stop and your depth of field. All those are very important. And the other thing that we talked about is an example that I showed you is that when I was shooting wide open, because of the subject, this little girl had angel wings on. So I purposely went to plus EV compensation because I wanted the background to be really super bright and ethereal, and purposely blew that out. So again, it's kind of tricky business to do wide open, but you can really get beautiful effects, and I think that's the strength of that fast glass for sure.
I've got a buddy who is just getting into DSLR photography, and he says, I can always tell a professional photograph because it's the one that has some of it in focus and some of it's not in focus. He doesn't know how to describe it, but he knows, I've seen that, I like that look, and we're talking about a shallow depth of field.
Very shallow.
And then how to control that, and the way you get there is with great fast glass.
Yeah, absolutely. The quality of the glass makes a difference, and practice. So as much practice as you can get, first before you go on your shoot, I would definitely recommend that.
So mostly plants and pets to begin with, so before you get to people?
Yeah, definitely before you have an important photo shoot, practice on anything that's around. That's always a good thing. That's my policy, yeah.
Very cool. Well, Annie, thank you so much for spending
Thanks
time
for
with us.
having me.
Spend some time with Annie in New York at Adorama because you will, I promise, learn something. And she's also got classes over on Cahill Training.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, on my camera, I've got a D7000 and you've got a D7000 class.
I do.
The first, by the way, ever D7000 class when it came out. It was the first
That's right,
one.
yeah. It was brand new.
Yeah, and so was my camera, and I didn't know what to do with it, but now I know.
Yeah, happy to help.
Guys, we'll see you next time.
I'm Eric Valland, a lifestyle portrait photographer. Photography, for me, I'm a people photographer, so I love working with the people and working in beautiful locations together. You're shooting lifestyle photography and you're looking through your camera lens and you're getting those frames, and all of a sudden the moment happens, you know it instantly. The great thing about lifestyle photography is I try to capture real moments with it, so I set the stage to let those moments happen, and as they unfold, I'm just there lucky enough to be the one pulling the trigger and getting it on film. For my upcoming class, Outdoor Lifestyle Photography, the key to capturing that moment in that location is finding what's unique about that location, what really stands out to you right away, and then compressing it. In this class, I'm going to teach you how to select those locations, how to light them for control and contrast. Everybody loves the lighting techniques, but in the end, it's all just to set the stage so that moment can happen, and we walk away with an image that goes ahead and showcases the beautiful spot we were at and captures the moment as it happened in it. Please join us for the rest of the class. You're really going to love some of the techniques I've got to share.
All right, well, welcome back. And I'd like to share with you a tip about modifying your gear. And the good news is, right after that, a real expert is going to share with you a great tip on illumination, Mr. Larry Becker. But first, let me share with you what I love to do when I get new gear. The first thing I do is I take it out and try to figure out how it works, and then I try to figure out how I can make it work better. With the flash right here, what I find is I'm always trying to put modifiers, gels or something on it, and I found that I was using rubber bands and things like that. The best thing I would tell you to do is get you some velcro and use one section to wrap around the edge of it. That way, whenever you've got some sort of modifier like this, it'll immediately just hook right on there because it's got the hook and loop on the inside of that. Goes right on it. That's going to save you a lot of trouble looking for those rubber bands or attachments that you won't have, and it's really handy. The second thing I do is I attach Velcro on the side here because I use the Ellen Crum wireless triggers right here, and I kept losing them or having them dangle with the wires. Well, the problem is that they get knocked off or the buttons get hit, but if I take and put a little Velcro right on the side, now I just clip it onto the side and it's stuck right there, not going anywhere. Nice and handy, I always know where it's at. Two quick ways to take every one of your flashes and get them ready for what you're going to do with them in the field. Finally, the third thing that I love to do with these triggers is the button tends to get pressed a little bit because it's got a raised button, on and off button here. You don't want that to get hit while you're out on the field. So I took a little O-ring and some super glue and I simply put that right around the on and off trigger there. So now you have to depress inside the O-ring to get it to come on. That's just figuring out some of the problems that I've had in the field, and I've sought the nice simple solutions by just simply going to the hardware store and adding a couple little things to it. So next time you've got your gear, try to see if there's a way that you can fix it up just a little bit better so it's going to help you out in the field. Now let's go over to Larry. Larry, you got a tip for us?
Yeah, actually, I just want to talk about lighting in the dark. And there are a lot of situations where maybe you don't have a remote light, a remote speed light. And what you'll find is that when you use your camera and you press the trigger, you see the illuminator light going on. Well, I want to talk about that first. First of all, it's only going to work for a short distance. It helps you get focus in dark environments, but it doesn't always work well. That's why I have this little thing with me. It's actually a police tactical flashlight. It's really bright and it has a good reach, 300 feet or so. It's 500 lumens. These things are about 90 bucks, 100 bucks on Amazon, and you can get a really, really bright beam at a great distance. The other thing I like about some of these tactical lights is that they also have a low beam setting. So if I'm working in the dark, I use the low beam for all my local stuff on my camera, and then at the distance then I can turn it up higher. Now the reason that I might use that is, let's say I'm working with a model who is in some really dim light at a distance. And what I can do is then use this light to light up the model enough, or the scene enough, so that the camera can grab focus. Once the camera has focus, then I can take the picture and turn this light off. So this isn't actually adding to the scene. You could use it for light painting, but that's another tip. So what I'm getting at is the illuminator light is there. Be aware of it, be aware of its limitations, and also turn it the heck off. You can go into menus and turn it off when you don't want it. You don't want that obnoxious kind of thing going on if you're sitting in a play or something like that and have that bright light flashing. Second thing is you can use a remote flash or a flashlight for a distance illuminator. And the third thing is, and I don't have one with me, you know those little tiny pocket flashlights that go on key fobs? Well, if you're taking a picture of a model at a great distance, and I've done this a couple of times, I actually have the model hold the light out in front of his or her face for a second. I get focus, and then they just drop it in front of them. It gets hidden in the grass or whatever. And so the model self-lights. And then that way, I can take a picture, and it's got accurate focus because I do my focus before I press the shutter. That's it for that tip, and we got to run to a break. We'll be right back.
I really believe that your photography is a reflection of who you are. In my posing class, you're going to learn a lot of things. How to pose a bride and bring out the best in her shape and her curves. How to photograph a groom, because many of us who may focus on the bride will ignore the groom. Getting your clients to mirror you. Mirroring, I find, is the best way of getting people to pose. I'm Jerry Gionis. Check out my class on the fine art of posing at kelbytraining.com.
Welcome back. Hey, I'd like to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Peach Pit. They've got this great ebook deal for you. Right now, it's 40% off for our viewers. And this book is a great book by Brian Smith about the secrets of great portraits. So if you're interested in great portrait photography, check this out. It's only $23.99, and it's limited for our Kelby TV viewers for a short time. So go to peachpit.com/KelbyTV and enter the code KelbyTV right there on the site. That's a great deal. Speaking of a great deal, we've got a great photographer that Larry turned me on to just a little while ago. His name is Steve Augulis. Check out his stuff. He's got a great gallery here where he's got wonderful photography, great HDR. If you're into HDR, go check his galleries out. And then if you're feeling a little bit creepy, go over to his darker side. He does some great photo manipulation, great techniques, perfect for Halloween coming up. But if you go back over to his other gallery, you're going to see some wonderful HDR, beautiful photography. So depending on your choice, are you feeling light side or dark side, go check him out. He's a great photographer. And once again, Larry was the one who showed me this. Larry's got a great contest for us.
Yep, the contest this week is a spider focal. You can use this lens focal product to calibrate your lens, calibrate your camera. So if you feel like your focus is off just a little bit, if you don't feel really sharp, well, this is the item that you need. So the way that we do the contest now is you go to kelbytv.com/contest. And of course, you're going to fill out and tell us which show you're a part of, your name. That is a required field. You have to fill out your email address and your website if you have one. Then just put in whatever comments make sense to you. Tell us what you want to tell us about the show. Folks, that's it for another episode of Photography Tips and Tricks. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll see you again next time.